a young person and doing business, I think one of the hardest things is to be trusted.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion.
Mm.
Probably most young people maybe don't want to get rich quick.
Mm.
So you can easily do people, you can easily do all that and that. And I think young people really don't really understand the power of trust.
Fair enough. They don't.
We can invest and chase all other skills that require us to make money. But when it comes to trust, most people overlook it.
They do.
Yeah. So I want to hear more from experience. If someone was listening and wanted to teach a young entrepreneur right now and wanted to teach them on the lesson of trust from experience, what would you say?
I mean, honestly, business, trust is key.
Yeah.
You know, trust is key. Let me give you an example of something that happened. I think from the last time we spoke, I shared with you that I am leaving, I'm planning on moving on from my current employment.
Yeah.
You know, to pursue, I think possibly we're getting toward that.
Yeah.
Other avenues. Now, something interesting happened recently at my work where I was hiring some new recruits for one of the positions that we have at my workplace. Now, there was a young man who came about. I liked his story. I liked how he actually approached it. Yeah. It really reminded me of myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of a younger me. This guy fresh out of uni. So I was holding interviews, right?
Yeah.
I had called people to come for interviews. Now, he came a bit late, but I saw him right there outside.
Yeah.
I interviewed everybody. Now, I approached him like, hey, have you been assisted here?
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm here for the interviews. I'm like, all right, were you called?
Yeah.
He's like, not really. My friend was called, but he's not in the longer. So I came basically to just interview on his behalf for myself. So, all right. I was quite intrigued by that. I was like, okay, this guy is an opportunist.
Yeah.
But I said, let me give him the time.
Yeah.
You know, cause I like people that want to put that effort in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause honestly speaking, I really want to teach people that if you put in that effort, sooner or later you will be rewarded.
True.
Yeah. So I gave him the time. We sat down, he told me how he just recently graduated. He came to the long way to pursue other things. How he's so big into entrepreneurship. He won some awards, this and that.
Exactly.
And that he's keen to just learn and gain some value.
Yeah.
In our conversation, of course, I told him to say, you know what, you remind me of a younger version of you. And the problem there is, if that is the case, you're such an opportunist. You want to go to the next best thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told him point blank, I believe that you not stay here, you be here, and then you try to run for something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told him all this. He tried to convince me otherwise. I said, wow, I know this is the case. Because I know that this is the case because you remind me of me. That's how I have been. You know, he denied it, sir. We spoke, finished the interview, but I was intrigued. So I called him later on. I told him, you know what, I was very much intrigued by you. I really felt that we could work together well. So I hired him.
Yeah.
Now at my workplace, something I set up was for the first couple of days, it's training and assessment.
Yeah.
So I train you by the same time. I see how well you are taking all of this in and how well you actually, like putting it out there, you know? Now, I think day 1, day 2 was fine. Day 1 was fine. Day 2 as well. But let me just bring it back.
Yeah.
During the time of the interview, I had shared that I was worried of him possibly just leaving, because I told him as well my situation to say I'll be leaving my workplace.
Yeah.
I told him that I'll be leaving very soon. pursuing ABC. So we got into all those details. So I was also fascinated with what I was doing. And so that was there. 2 days later, he approached me. He says, sir, I wanted just to talk to you. The stuff that you said you want to pursue, I was thinking maybe you can consider me as well. Wow. Such an opportunist. Yeah. You can consider me as well. You know, I'd love to join you, this and that. I was like, is that the case? Initially, granted, I'd been thinking of having a team, but he's actually the one with that statement. I brushed him off a bit because I was like, right now I'm still putting all those things together. I'll work on them when I finally, let's say, move on. Yeah, I brushed him off a little bit. I'd been thinking about it, and he really does fit in what I'm actually trying to do. Because as I said, he reminds me of a younger me. You know, like this would be someone I can mentor. Day 3, day 4, he doesn't come to work. He just doesn't come to work. I ask someone who had started with him, like, where is he? She tells me, oh, he didn't tell you? I'm like, no, he didn't tell me anything. What's up? She goes, oh, he has to tell you himself. I was like, all right. No, I did not feel the need to contact him. The following day, when I was holding now other interviews, because in my mind I could tell that means he's possibly not coming back. I had to also be in the office where I'm getting new people in. He shows up the day after. He shows up usually around 10, which is not on because, I start my day at 7 at work. Yeah. So at 10, he shows up with a letter saying, oh, sir, I'm sorry I didn't come yesterday. Saying all these things and say how he wants to resign. Yeah. I was fine with that part. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. I was fine. To resign is fine. I tell everybody, for the first couple of days, I train you, I assess you, and then the last day of what I have put in place, I do assessment, and we both have to choose each other before we can sign anything. So I was fine with that. What I was not fine with is him just not coming to work. True. He broke my trust. Yeah, true. I was actually thinking of possibly taking him with me. He broke my trust. And I told him straight that, you see, this is the problem with, it's okay to leave, but you have to know how best to do that. Yeah. Yeah. You don't know at what point we will need each other. Sure. Yeah. That's a big point. And that's the thing with this trust. And I counter these things, especially in business, where people burn the bridge, not knowing when we're going to need each other. And sometimes not too far. It's not too far. What if you assess it so that you could make him part of this something, and maybe it's a bigger thing that is. Exactly. Oh, it is. Exactly. It is. So people get to miss big opportunities simply because they're not trustworthy. Exactly. Yeah, because if I'm starting my own personal things, I want people I can trust. True. Yeah. Nobody likes this thing where you have someone there, you're scratching your head. What is it going to do? Nobody likes that. So with him, I think it was a simple thing of just communicating with me. If you feel like you need to move on, there's something else, let me know. Yeah. But his failure of doing that to me, I felt like he broke trust. Yeah. So in business, I think trust is the most important thing. So what few things would you say a person or young person needs to understand or to grasp so that they can be more trustworthy? So that they can be more trustworthy. Yeah. First, honesty. Yeah. We have to be honest with each other. Yeah. That's something I always tell my staff members. I'll always be honest with you, and I need you to be honest with me. Yeah. As I said, I do not want to doubt you. Yeah. I want to know that if I'm leaving to go to a meeting outside, that everything is in order here. I want to know that everything in order, in the sense that if a customer pays X amount, that means you're putting back in X amount.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of those businesses were dealing with money.
True.
Yeah. So we have to be able to be honest with each other. Yeah. The second one was even consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be consistent with your actions and what you're doing. You know, it can't be today I'm getting this version, tomorrow I'm getting another version. Then it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. So I'd say that, you know, being true to your word as well.
Yeah.
We say we're going to do this. We have to do that.
Yeah.
It can't be. And so there's something I like to say, with my staff members, when I tell them to do something and they say, I will try. No, we don't use that. The rat is done.
Isn't that good enough?
No,
I'm not making promises.
No, I need you to make a promise to me because I need to hold you accountable. I will try means if you don't do it, you said you will try. I didn't say I'm going to do it. You know, I do not want that. Tell me you're going to do it. And then I'll hold you accountable to that. You told me you're going to do it. And even the way you execute that, you will say, I told him I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You say you're going to try. You're going to give me 50%, 60%. No, I don't want that. Yeah.
That's deep. Honestly, I am a witness of that. I think most of my blessings in life, and that's the thing, blessings always come through people. And trust is one of the biggest challenges.
It is.
Like, I can always connect it. When people say I'm favored, sometimes I'm like, I'm just trustworthy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Someone will come to them, even 500K, they have to like pray about it. But someone 10 million without even telling you how to do checking, they will know that I'll give you this one.
Exactly.
You handle it the way you said, you handle it. So I think I like the way you're saying, because I think this is something that a lot of young people have to get nowadays.
It is. And I'll be honest, I feel like I want to say we, as an organization, we've been able to get so far because of trust.
Yeah.
Let me just go back to the tour company that I was telling you about. So after those guests went back to China, the company from China now, it cut links with this established tour company that was in at least 3 different countries to work with me.
Yeah.
Now, over the last couple of years, almost other than until COVID, but they'd send us people here, all the way from China. They'd send us funds to take care of these people.
Yeah.
I've never met their boss, but so send us, and it was a lot of money.
Wow.
Yeah. Then do I start mentioning numbers? But let's say in 2019, right?
Yeah.
In 2019, we brought in a good around what, $20,000 in a span of a month in the tourism sector. Yeah. So that was not profit, but that is us now, where this is paying for accommodation. So we're paying the BICCs, paying for the vehicles and everything. Granted, some profits for us as well, but they're doing that out of trust.
Yeah, that's a big tour company in a month.
Hey, I mean, that is trust. Yeah. Now, and that they would not have done that, as they put it, because if they do not trust us, they would not have done that.
Yes.
And it happened once, twice, thrice, and we kept on going, and we still work together till this day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's interesting is we've now even branched out and we work with other tour companies from China.
Wow.
Yeah. Because somebody, and so the thing about the business, and the thing about, I think, the way that we have positioned ourselves all the way until now, we have worked on just referral business. Never have I ever advertised. Yeah. Almost all my businesses, I really advertised.
I didn't know. Of course, we had a conversation.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that you were doing these big things.
Fair. Because the referral business has really been good. And how how does one refer you to somebody else? Because they trust you.
Facts.
They trust your product. They trust your services.
Facts.
They say, oh, this was so good for me. Let me now, refer my friends to you. Yeah. And so trust is so important and so key in business.
All right. So I'm glad that you took us back to your business. So now the transition.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think China passed. Here you are. You're still doing business. I find a word on transition.
Yeah.
What can you say specifically about starting from where you are or with what you got? Because what I could say from you was you came here and you're new 5 years out of the country. And then you don't really comprehend the economy and the way of things right now at that moment in Malawi. But we said, okay, I know Chinese. I can start from there. Yeah. So what can you say about starting from where you are as a transition? Because I'm sure there's some people who are graduating right now or graduated. I'm like, what should I do?
Fair.
Yeah.
This is very interesting because it's something that there's a sermon that I was actually watching a couple of days ago that I'd sent to my family by this pastor, Mike Todd. I don't know if you know him. Like the guy. It's kind of cool.
Easy.
Indeed. So with this sermon, I think it's one that he started for the year, which was talking about strengthening your strengths.
Yeah.
A lot of the times we want to strengthen our weaknesses, and we neglect our strengths.
Yeah.
And this, I really could just relate to that because that's something especially right at this moment, I am trying to do.
Yeah.
But if I think back then, it was also me, trying to, use my strength.
Yeah.
And I could even advise everybody who is now trying to transition to say, focus on what are your strengths.
Yeah.
You can apply for the jobs. If you get the jobs, great. You know what I mean? That is fine. But at the same time, what if you don't?
Yeah.
What do you do then? Yeah. You look at to say, what are your gifts? What are your strengths? What are you actually good at?
Yeah.
And now you try to strengthen that. You try to find a way in how you can actually use that to make something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's another saying that I have, especially that I've been really working with, for the last couple of months. It's where another pastor, T.D. Jakes, I got this from him. He goes, if this is not the thing, then let it be the thing that leads you to the thing.
I like that.
You know what I mean? So, and a lot of the things, man, especially after that transition from like after uni, during that transition, we also put so much pressure to say this should be that thing.
Exactly.
It cannot be that thing. And it's okay if it is not the thing, because you'd find out that it ends up leading you to the thing that is the thing. You know what I mean?
I think people need to grasp that. Let's take it so there.
Fair.
Okay, just my opinion to paint what you say right now.
Yeah.
Maybe we can agree. Success is one I can ladder. Where you want to get is the top of the ladder.
Yes.
And then there are steps I have to be. Take it. So to digest it, as you're saying, a thing that is a thing that is to the
Thing.
To the thing. It takes time.
Takes time.
To make it.
It takes time.
It takes time to get to do what you really want to do.
Takes time.
Someone said you have to do what you have to do what you want to.
Oh, I like that.
To do it. Exactly. So, final opinion on this matter. What can you say about the process, especially when it comes to business? Because think about it. I think before we studied this whole composition. I was thinking about starting a powdered meat plant. That thing is like tens of millions of dollars.
Yes.
If you want to do a proper one. There's no way I can just come off.
So?
But that doesn't mean it can be done.
No, that's true. That's true.
I have to find out what I can do. That in 10 years, I'm going to be able to do this. Exactly. So what can you say about that?
The process. I think it's as you also put it, sometimes you have to do what you have to do right now. To be able to do what you actually want to do.
Yeah.
Ultimately success takes time. Yeah. It takes time. You have to be patient. I like this thing. A friend of mine said, Richard, shout out to Richard. I remember him. I think we were talking a while back in regards to just work, pay, low pay and job, yada, yada, yada. And it was like, Henry, you see, you have to pay your dues. You just don't get that. You have to pay your dues. A lot of us, we really just want to get there, but no, we have to build a foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even this ladder you're talking about, you have to be able to build that foundation down there to say, if I fall off, how am I going to land?
I like that point.
Yeah. A lot of us, we fail this. And I feel like you also need to be very, very flexible as well. Sometimes you might want something, but maybe that might really not be that thing for you.
Yeah.
You also, and I know this is so hard to hear at times.
Yeah.
But you have to be flexible in the sense that if it's not that thing, maybe this is the thing. Like, you're on your way to get there. This can also open other doors. Yeah. You end up discovering yourself a little, you discover yourself during that climb.
Yeah.
Saying, okay, maybe there's also this, there are also these other possibilities. I think, was this the light bulb or some of these inventions where, people are trying to do one thing, which ended up leading to something else.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'd say you also need to be super flexible. Cause you will be very surprised what else you end up discovering in this pursuit for what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some of it, the problem is you're just so focused on that you end up missing out on these other opportunities. Cause I feel like it's not just about one thing. There's so many things one can do. And that pursuit can lead you to these other doors. Yeah. And so that's something.
I think that's business wisdom right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the first thing that is to be rigid.
Very true.
I can't testify to that.
Yeah, very true. You look at all these big companies around the world, they just, as much as they're good at one thing, but there's so many other things that they're also doing.
Yeah.
Look at Apple. Granted, that iPhone sells, but it's not the only stream of income, man. They got what? They got Apple Music. Now they got Apple TV. They got the AirPods. They got the iPads. They're doing so many other different things.
Yeah.
So with one thing, we're also still able, it's still able to lead you to other things as well.
Yeah.
All
right. So we have taken some time. We should be wrapping up. But before I can get to that point, I think, you talk about what you're doing right now. As we conclude on what's new on your horizon. Fair. But I want to get a few opinions from what you said and even from my knowledge about you. First opinion that I would get from you. What can you say about, because the way I know it, you are Henry Chimunthu Banda Jr. Your dad has a big name, right?
Fair.
We can agree to that. He's someone who really was influential and has done a lot for the country. And you went to Kamuzu Academy for high school. You went to China for college.
Okay.
I also have a bit of that experience. I went to Kamu's Academy as well. And I think most people say when you come from a wealthy family or well-to-do family, then you can hardly make it in the toughness and the hecticness of business. What's your opinion on that?
I mean, I think the biggest problem is where people will just generalize and just say one person's life is that's the way everybody is.
True.
You know, I've experienced this even in China where they say, because this person has done this, that means, let's say Malawians are like that. You know, people like to generalize that, but I think everybody has their own path and everybody has their own story and background.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's experiences, they're so different. Yeah. Myself, I know that I am the way I am because of my experiences.
True.
You know, I can always speak about me.
That's true.
And I don't know. I don't think we have the time to go through the experiences I've had, but
yeah,
I think my experiences have really brought me to where I am today, and I can handle the toughness of business because of my experiences.
Exactly.
So what I can actually say to that I'm not really going too deep, is to say, I think that's wrong because everybody has their own experience.
That's true.
You know, you look at, who's this? Let's talk about Bill Gates. Bill Gates does not come from a poor family. Bill Gates, apparently, from what I've heard and what I've read, is that dude does come from money. But look at what he's done.
Crazy, bro.
It is crazy. So granted, either your parents have something or they do not. I don't think that means that in business you can't stand. You can't hold your own. But I think it depends on one, what you have also gone through. Two, the knowledge that you also and I'm taking in, because that's really ultimately what's going to shape up the way you handle the businesses. So as much as where you come from, it can play a role, but ultimately I think it's about what you take in yourself, what you're observing, not you're absorbing.
Yeah,
really. That is what is going to shape you, and that is what is going to determine to say, are you going to make it or not?
Yeah.
All
right. So I like that. I thought we should address it because I've had that experiences. Because you find friends, like they're into business and people, generalizations. He comes from there. You're talking about somebody comes from there, then you can't make it. And even sometimes people themselves believe that they just have to live in their parents' shadow of success. They don't believe that they can take that success to another level.
True.
So it's nothing wrong to come from a background where something already started getting built. I feel like we'd had more people who could carry on things and pass it on, and generation to generation we see people going further and further.
Actually, two things I want to say there as well. I feel like, I don't know, as Malawians, that is something that is, I feel like we have not done such a very good job with generational wealth.
Yeah.
With really teaching the young ones to carry over what we have done, what we have built. I know a lot of the people from the Indian background, they have done that very well,
bro.
Yeah. What the granddad started, the father goes, takes it higher, the son goes, takes it higher. And that's how, I feel like that's how it should be. Yeah. And no one should even be ashamed of it to say, I don't know, in Malawi, we like to somewhat shame each other to say, Cezanne is one. But it's crazy because, everything I'm trying to do, I'm trying to do this for my kids, for my kids' kids. I'm trying to live like a huge bag for them, and I'm messing around.
Real, bro.
Because they don't need to suffer. Why?
basically, it's not nice, bro.
It's not. It's not.
It's not fair. It's not nice. If you have the opportunity to lay a good foundation, we should do it.
Indeed.
But anyway, another opinion, because time is against us.
Sure.
Yeah. What can you say from experience in China? Like, you have 5 years aside, and China is crazy progress.
Yeah.
And is it 30 or 45 years ago, China was not a name like when it comes to money and stuff like that. And then here in Malawi, especially to young people now, I want to address this to people.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible that we can bring about radical development through entrepreneurship?
Oh, yes.
And what can you say about that in relation to China?
Honestly, it's interesting because, so for China, right? When I went to China, I did my undergraduate there. I also did my master's. Yeah. So I have my MBA from China.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, next year, I want to go and do another master's.
That's interesting.
I want to do another master's next year.
What is masters?
Because you see, for the masters, I feel like you're learning, and I learned so much.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm where I am today because of that MBA.
Yeah.
But with where I'm trying to go, I need something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next year, I plan on going to do another master's in politics and policy development. Yeah. Which I want to set up. That is going to be that foundation for me for my PhD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I definitely do believe that for a community, for the lives of people to change, the private sector has to play a role. Yeah. I feel like, and this is something for my PhD, I really want to do this on the ground. Like, I want to show this. Yeah. Here in Malawi, in Kodakoda, of course. I mean, so
on the ground,
God, man, represent. That's what's up. But this is something I really want to do because, if you really look at it, the wealthy nations, developed nations, as much as granted the government has played a role, but they are where they are because of the private sector.
Facts.
I really look at the West. Man, you look at the private sector, look at the wealthiest people in the world. A good majority of them, they come from that side. Why are they wealthy? You look at the companies, the amount of people they employ, which is now they're bringing money into that community. The things that they're manufacturing or the services they're offering, they go outside. Yeah? They're exporting to Malawi, wherever. That is money. Government is getting taxes from that. Government is making money from the private sector as well.
Thanks.
And that is how they're developing. I feel like we have, I don't want to use the word weak, but our private sector is not as strong. Yeah. I feel like if the private sector was really coming about, we talk about these exports, Malawi, we don't have dollars, and we say Malawi does not have dollars. The government is not doing anything to help us export. We're thinking of the government, but what about the private sector? The government has a role to play, for me, in my opinion, due to the policies.
Yeah.
That is all fair and good. But everything else, I feel like as a private side, we also need to play our role. Because it can't just be the government saying, we will do this, we'll export. No.
That's interesting. I remember asking someone, I was like, okay, in the past 50 years, which country from Malawi can you point at that is in more time 5 or 10 countries?
Look at that.
And there was an interesting question as well. Which company in Malawi can you point us? Okay, they're there, but that are more than 50 years old. And that's too mighty.
Fair. And
so what you're saying, it's really true. I think we are so obsessed with pointing at the government, blaming the government, and being so dependent on the government. And politicians abuse that because they know that those try and they'll give you the promises. And when you start saying it's them, then the next party comes in and says, look at these guys who are the ones who are going to do this for you, but not forgetting that it is them who actually can transform their nation.
It is. I don't know how I don't know how we really got into this, but we're just super dependent on them to be the savior. But what can we do? And it's crazy because just look at the other nation. Let's look at America. You see, and I know you know this. One of the presidents who said, "So about what your nation can do for you, but what can you do for the nation?"
JFK, boss.
Exactly. We really don't think in that manner. What can we do for the nation? What role can we play? We don't really think like that. And I think we need to start putting this message out there. And it needs to start from a young age. What can I do? What can I do? When you start asking yourself that question, sooner or later, you start trying to find solutions to it, answers. And those solutions at some point, they'll change lives.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Right, so wrapping up the conversation now. What's you on the horizon?
As you, so
as you have talked about, you're gonna have time to get into some things now. Your business, I understand that.
I
very kind of thing.
I feel like we've been all over the place, So after, granted, I think 2017, I started the businesses. And now for the last 3 years, I've actually been employed. So I'm currently employed as well. I manage a hotel, actually.
I'm a hotel manager.
I'm a hotel manager. So I'm a general manager for the hotel. And